Today, we're going to be turning this old garage behind me into a shelter for a cow and a calf that we're getting in about a week. So we got to get to work. Over the last few weeks, we've been working to get this area prepped as a receiving point for the new animals. We had a lot of random things stored in here and we needed to get that all cleaned out. I like having a secure space to bring new animals into to give us time to get adjusted to each other. I framed out this stall area last year when we got our pigs and we had them in there for the first week or two after we got them. We need to make a few changes to make it ready for the cow. We also need a place to milk the cow, which we're going to set up in here as well. I'm going to start today by removing this garage door. These garage doors are in pretty rough shape. We want to go ahead and just get them out of here, as we really want to keep them open all the time anyways, because we want to have good airflow in here. The other day I took the one down in the other bay, learned a few lessons along the way. This spring should come off relatively easily with no tension. The door all the way up. Yeah, there we go. Well, that's one way to do it. Now how do we get it to stay up? That's the trick. This board is conveniently just hanging out right here where I can reach it. Not planned, I couldn't have planned it that well. But I'm wondering if I can just wedge this up between the framing. So I got my trusty board here. Get that slid up. This is a garage door that's rotten. It should set right there. Spring one off. And spring two. And for those wondering, all these lights that are hanging around over here, there's no power to them. This obviously was an old garage, workspace in a past life. And there's a bunch of add-on fluorescent lights and receptacles and stuff out here, but they're all on a completely separate service. It's completely disconnected, so there's no power out here at all. Both of our springs are off. So now I'm gonna lift this. Drop it down. So I'll start by pulling these hinges here. That hinges out. That hinges out. And I'll pull these rollers off. Well, that was cool. Well, let's just fold it. Fold it to me. There are hinges off. Now our panel's free. This is gonna be the heaviest one, but it's really not that bad. And then we'll just rinse and repeat all the way down. These center panels are a lot lighter because they don't have a 2x6 on the top, or 2x4, I guess. Yeah. On the other side, some of these bolts on the bottom are rusted off. This one, there aren't any, but they're not wanting to come out. But I found I can just lift it. Yeah. You just lift it, it'll just kind of work its way out of the track like that. Then we just gotta disconnect the cables for the springs. Now for the actual track itself, it looks like it's just lag bolts into the wood. And then just bolt it on in the back here. That's it. Pretty easy. When I first built this stall last year, I just framed it out 12 by 12. Well, since we're getting a cow and a calf and we want to have a space to house both of them and also be able to split it into 2 stalls so that we can separate them at night, we're going to push this back wall back about another 3 or 4 feet to the edge of that door jamb right there. And that'll expand the stall about 15 feet, and then we'll have a gate that we'll put in the middle to divide it. All right. We'll have to build a little piece in the corner right here. Basically just gonna pick this up, move it back. We're all set. It's a new day. I went and picked up the gates we need yesterday, so I'm gonna try and get those installed today, and then we'll be all finished with the stall itself. First thing I'm gonna do is get our 2x8 installed. It's gonna go through here. That's gonna hold the bedding in place, and the gate will swing on the outside of that and be set just a couple inches below so that there's not a big gap between the board and the gate. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set the lower anchor for the gate hanging, and then we'll measure off of that to set the upper one. So go ahead and set this one right in here. Then we'll slide this bracket down and slide up to that position where it's set. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side and screw a block in here to kind of just be a little bit extra to prevent any tear out on this 2x6. Grab our level. Holds nice and flat. It doesn't want to walk if I park it right here. The other gate hinge is going to be right here. It's going to swing out this way. We don't really have anything to anchor right here. We got this block wall, and then there's studs about halfway up. I built this post, which is basically just 3 2x4s. There's one full the length, and then 2 runs coming back that'll straddle this stud here. So then we can just get this anchored in square. And we'll check and see that we're still level the way we want to be. I guess this is plumb, right, Greg? Or plumb, not level. Gate is going to hinge here and swing from kind of this way, like that. But the load on the bottom is to push out the bottom that way, right? Gravity's pushing the end of the gate down, so the bottom's gonna be pushing that way. So I'm gonna take and put a 2x4 from the bottom of this post back to the back of our gate pen there, and that will do a couple of things. It'll tie all this together. We'll put some Tapcons into this wall here. We'll lock it in on both ends. It'll help actually tie the back end in, and it'll tie the bottom of this post in place and keep it from wanting to kick out like that. All right, now we'll go ahead and get these pins set into this post. Go ahead and set this gate in here. The purpose of this gate is to give us a divider to be able to separate this into 2 stalls to separate the cow and calf overnight so we can milk in the morning. We want it to be something that we can relatively easily take on and off when we don't need that functionality, when we're not using it that way. So I'm gonna set this upper pin, what I consider to be upside down, which is going the same direction as the lower one. Normally, you wanna set it going downward, and then this bracket slides up, and that keeps the gate from being able to be lifted up. But I'm gonna go ahead and set it pointing upwards so that we can easily lift the gate on and off. All right, let's see what that looks like. Swings all the way over here this way. We're all set. Now we just need to fill up the stall with bedding, and then we're ready for a cow. The last thing we need to do in here is get a stanchion set up for milking. I built this stanchion based on the plans from Justin Rhodes. I may end up making a few adjustments since this cow is smaller than average, but it'll give us a starting point. Everything is just screwed together, so it makes it relatively easy to make any adjustments. In the next video, we're gonna be back in the garden getting the last few odds and ends tied up and getting ready to get it planted. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you back here then.